Oh, wow, just wow. See, here's the thing. If you had told me some years ago that, hey, there's going to be this new wrestling promotion that's going to rival WWE in wrestling in general for years to come, I would have been interested, but a little bit skeptical. But no, no, no. That's not the point. If you had told me that, hey, guess what? Their world champion is going to be CM Punk, I might have like made a sarcastic agreement towards it. I might have scoffed at you. I might have shot you down instantly and humiliated you. It's a good thing that never came up in conversation. Otherwise, I would have been a fool. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy here, Apollo from Down, Down, Up, Up. We're coming off the heels of one of AEW's hottest pay-per-views so far this year, and yes, there have only been two, but I believe this one was hotter than Revolution. I will say it. Double or Nothing, 2022. Oh, wow. CM Punk is the world champion. CM Punk is AEW world champion. I love it. Absolutely love it. I cannot wait to run down the show with y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Let's try to get into this reasonably when it comes to time. So, buy-in. Yep, we'll try to compose ourselves before we get to the good juice. We did not, surprisingly, did not have any other bonus matches. I really thought we were going to try to smash in maybe one or two others just because the Revolution buy-in really did. But no, we had our promos, which were all great, by the way. The storyline's great, the build's great, the video's great. And then Hookhausen versus Tony Nese and Sterling was exactly what it should have been. No real criticism. I'm actually amazed Danhausen did all that he did during that match. I really thought he was just going to be as quick as he was in his, match with Tony Nese the other week. But no, he did some flips around. It was entertaining. Hook smashed some people, threw some people on their heads, did all the work, tagged in Danhausen, and Danhausen came in just to pin Sterling, get the pop, and Hookhausen wins, obviously. Fun stuff, no complaints. It's what it needed to be. Now, let's start the show off. Oh, we had some balls on this one. I'm just going to straight up say it. We had some balls on this one. I think the opening match to this pay-per-view may have been one of my favorite things in professional wrestling so far as a fan. Because that jerk, that waste of oxygen, MJF, started out, and I don't believe we had the opportunity to discuss this during my predictions. There was the apparent no-show he made during FanFest, meet and greets, etc. Everyone seemed to speculate that he was ditching the pay-per-view in general. I didn't. I thought he was trolling, and obviously it was, but I wouldn't be surprised if there really is heat with him backstage because of things, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm going to get into what I liked. He came out, he made a motion with his arms like an airplane, teasing that he was flying away, etc., leaving. Wardlow came out, and they did exactly what they needed to do. I didn't want to pray and hope for this too much during the predictions contest, but a part of me was always nagging, can this just be a squash? Well, not at the start. MJF was running around, and he was trying to cheat. He even got the ring out super early, but Wardlow and the referee caught the shenanigans, and about after 3 or 4 attempts, the first powerbomb finally came. Then another one. Then another one. Then another one. Then another one. And then the pin, but then Wardlow lifted his foot off of him, and the crowd knew, the crowd knew that this man was about to pay MJF for those sins. Powerbomb, powerbomb, powerbomb. The symphony was amazing. It was beautiful. It was delicious. And then he pinned him, and it was great. Wardlow beats MJF in Wardlow fashion. He gets his AEW contract. MJF can go back to wherever he came from and never come back. No, but seriously, it was great. It was so great to see this is how the storyline ends for now, is that Wardlow got his hands on him and brutalized him, because when MJF throws down his gauntlets, people usually go through them, but they can't beat MJF. Well, Wardlow is the exception to the rule, and it was perfect. I loved it. One of my favorite things in pro wrestling, and I'm never going to be against seeing anything like that again to MJF. Not sure where he goes from here, but big fat loser, get off my screen. Wardlow, all right with me. Then, we go to the match where I thought the pay-per-view was going to start with. Young Bucks, Hardy Boys. This was fun. Jeff did struggle a bit in this, though, no offense, but I can't really say I'm surprised. The man has been putting his body through a lot crazy in AEW. Just watch his match with Darby and you know exactly what I'm talking about. But this had some hot moments, and the false finishes were certainly up tees. And of course, the Young Bucks ripped off the Hardys' moves. Great false finish. The Hardys had their opportunities, but it just didn't seem like they could put the Bucks away in the middle. But then they took the kicks, and the Bucks just made one too many mistakes. And thankfully, the Hardy Boys were able to come through. Twist of Fate, Swanton combination, 1, 2, 3. The Hardy Boys win on their quest to become AEW Tag Team Champions, and I felt very good getting this one right. And, hey, don't worry, it's not like I called a big show, but there were some matches I were very pleased to get right, and this was one of them. And then again, I will say it, the most obvious match of the night, but they tried. They tried. Jade Cargill, Anna Jay, TBS Women's Championship. Fun stuff, nothing too crazy, but Anna survived a bit more than I thought she would. Then the interference nonsense, like you'd expect with the baddies, and of course Sterling, even though he came out with a neck brace, but someone was not having it, and that someone's name was Johnny Hungy. Came to make sure Sterling goes out of commission. But then, I'm not familiar with his out of WWE name, but I'll try to make this as simple as possible. One of my favorite things, thanks to Xavier Woods and Up, Up, Down, Down, is Malcolm Bivens. And Malcolm Bivens is amazing. He decided to show up at Double or Nothing. Not really to a big distraction, but the pop was enough to just throw Anna off of her game so Jay could hit the delicious glam slam from the top. 1, 2, 3, still your TBS Women's Champion, Jade Cargill. And I believe she has replaced that piece of trash Sterling with a amazing upgrade in terms of Bivens. But we weren't done. No, of course we weren't. Because Chris Statlander decided to come out and try to even the field. But then, Athena decided to come out. For all those unfamiliar with her, that's her Up, Up, Down, Down name. The former WWE's Ember Moon has finally come to AEW, and it was a delight to see her. I honestly had given up on her coming anytime soon because I thought for sure she would be in the Owen Hart Women's Tournament, but it didn't happen. But no, they saved her for here. It was a great pop, it was a great moment, and a lot of future things to come. A woman who came very close to breaking Asuka's streak in NXT. Could she be the one to break Miss Cargill's in AEW? That remains to be seen, but some great surprise debuts here. Loved it. It was a moment out of a match that we weren't expecting. 2, if you count Bivens. That made it just so much better. All right, let's keep it going, though. Let's go to one of the ones I got wrong. House of Black picking up a win over Death Triangle. And I'll be honest, the show was cutting during a lot of this match for us, and it was a disappointment. But from what we saw, it was quite a fun time. Everyone got some good spots in there. The pain was up. And oh man, I thought for sure Pac was going to get his vindication when he got the chance to kick Black right in the nuts. The crowd was so mixed, he was going up for the Black Arrow, but then the lights go out and all the speculation, but you got me, AEW. You got me. The cheerleader from Varsity Blondes, who unfortunately the name does not resist in my brain temporarily enough to mention in this video to you lovely people. She decided to spit some mist in Pac's face, and into the black mass you go. 1, 2, 3, Death Triangle fall to House of Black, who finally gained their 4th member. And it works. I just didn't think they were going to do it. We spent so much time seemingly not getting ready to do this because the one time we thought we were going to turn her on Dynamite turned out to be a big waste of time. Well, thankfully, we have vindicated that with this turn, and House of Black do indeed pick up the win. A bit of a nuisance, though, to have Death Triangle lose again, but it didn't hurt things too bad. Good stuff, fun match. Now, how about we go into the Owen Hart tournaments? This is a mix. I'll be honest, this is where the show could have lost some people. Adam Cole Samoa Joe was the first finals match to be up. And aside from interference from Bobby Fish, it was a good little time. But then it fell flat. Yeah, I'll be honest. One thing I will give old NXT credit for is when we're building to something special looking, it usually turns out to be pretty special. But in the last week and a half to week, we had Samoa Joe versus Kyle O'Reilly and Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole, and both did not feel like they met up to that level that I expected. And I'm not really putting them down because there's a lot of differences from one company to the other. I believe one of them really has to do with time, but even so, a pay-per-view like this, Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe falling premature and flat, I'm sorry, that's how I felt. On to the winner, though. It was, of course, Da Boom, hit by Adam Cole, 1-2-3 over Samoa Joe. Joe eats his first AEW loss, and Chuckathan Adam Cole wins the men's tournament. Didn't have a problem with the winner there. We move on to the women's. We can go into it. We can certainly go into it after, of course, both tried to one-up each other by having some fans play their way to the ring. And I didn't even know this. My friend informed me during the show. I did not know that Ruby Soho's song is not based off of her. It was an original song that Ruby herself named herself after. I found that some pretty interesting trivia. Match itself, though, I did enjoy Ruby and Britt's better than Joe and Cole's. It told a lot of stories between them from their first match to here and who really wanted it. But then the moment you saw the finish about to happen, you just knew it was going to be it. It was the WrestleMania 10 finish, almost to a T, where Britt Baker won. I don't know, guys. Is that it for Ruby Soho in AEW? Because she needed this. It was the one match out of the entire night where I believed this person, this character, needed it more, and they lost. Ruby didn't beat Britt for the women's championship. She didn't beat Jade for the TBS championship, and she couldn't beat Britt for the Owen Hart trophy. It was a shame, but outside of that, I enjoyed the wrestling just the same. I enjoyed the presentation afterwards. The belts were a cute touch, and Adam Cole and Britt Baker take it home. I know that in itself doesn't seem like much of a surprise, but if you care enough to pay attention to Ruby Soho in wrestling, you really thought she was going to take it home. But it wasn't crap, so that's nice to say. I'm giving enough constructive criticism, I feel. But let's go away then. I look forward to the next year's tournament. Well done, AEW. I love me some wrestling. A match next that definitely needed to be what it was American Top Team taking care of those Vandals. Frankie Kazarian, Sammy Guevara, Ty Conti, defeated by the debuting Paige Van Zandt, of course, TNT champion Scorpio Sky, and Ethan Page. Ethan Page picking up his first AEW pay-per-view win, I believe. The match itself was, again, pretty much what it needed to be. I knew Frankie and Sammy were not going to be getting along for this, but this one still could have been a gamble. I would have been curious to see what the majority of fans thought were going to win this match. But after the debacle, finally TKO by the champ, 1-2-3. We can now take Kazarian and Sammy out of this TNT championship picture. And from the backstage interview, it looks like Dante Martin stepping up. So let's get some new people into this, please. Because the TNT championship was one of my favorite things in AEW before this very strange rivalry went on way too long. But it's done, so hooray, moving on. Needed to see it. Speaking of bonus matches, though, we then had our next one afterwards. Kyle O'Reilly, Darby Allin. Fun and debatably match of the night. I would give it match of the night if it just had maybe 7 to 10 more minutes, because I was into it. I was getting spicy with this one. These two were putting in some work and looking like they were killing each other with every jump. The technical wrestling was great. The reversals were great. And hey, say what you want, but Kyle O'Reilly got the win. I didn't expect that. I thought this was going to be a nice little bounce back for Darby after losing to Jeff Hardy when he came so close in the tournament. Whereas Kyle O'Reilly moved on a bit further but fell to Joe. I didn't think he needed this, but man, did he look good getting it. The Young Bucks failed to win on this show, but Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole picking up some pretty nice wins. Didn't hate that, and would love a rematch, by the way. Love a rematch. And for reference, it was clean. Kyle O'Reilly did indeed do it by himself. He was just too much for Darby that night. That knee drop from the top, keeping a staple in O'Reilly's namesake and finisher's sake for the 1-2-3. Mwah, delicious. Okay, we're getting down there, though. We're getting down there. Okay. Now, debatably, one of my lows, although no, I'm not putting down the match, but one of my lows, Thunder Rosa, Serena Deeb. I was ready to see Serena win. I love Serena Deeb. I've loved her character in AEW. She's done what I wanted her to do, but she could not beat Thunder Rosa for the Women's Championship tonight. It was a nice little try, but couldn't quite do it. The match was okay, but Serena losing after that one Thunder driver, I believe, I wanted more. I wanted more, and I can't help saying it. I was really ready for Serena to be elevated because her win over Shida in their last match really brought her out of the shell, I feel. And I just thought this was going to be it. But maybe, just maybe we're not done with this. Maybe we're not done with this. Keep your fingers crossed on that if you are a fan of Serena Deeb. I don't despise Thunder Rosa by any means. I'm enjoying her time as champion now that I've seen her wrestle in a match. But I don't know. I don't know if this is a reign that's going to last too much longer. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But now, one of my highlights of the night. If you've been keeping track of the last year, when it comes to my predictions for AEW, there is one wrestler I have been very consistent with in my predictions. That man's name is Chris Jericho. And we then had our Anarchy in the Arena. I don't know what to say. It was amazingly dumb. Oh, man. If you watch it, you know. Jon Moxley's music played for about the first 10 minutes of this match, and I kid you not, it felt like an eternity before Jericho, kayfabe, turned off the music. But this was pretty brutal outside of the jokes, man. We had blood early. They were fighting all over the place. The cameras were struggling to pick this up. I don't need to go into detail about this. If you care, watch this. This was fun and violent and what it should have been. But man, oh man, I really wasn't sure who was going to win because the last little bit of this match I really do want to go through because the emotions were crazy for me. So, Eddie Kingston and I believe Daniel Garcia, or one of 2.0, get in an elevator in the back, and I don't see them for a bit. Santana and Ortiz take out either 2.0 or 1 and Garcia with jumping off of ladders through tables outside of the ring, somewhere in the crowd. So we have Hager and Jericho basically versus Moxley and Danielson around the ring area. The top turnbuckle had, well, I shouldn't say turnbuckle, the whole top rope had basically been taken apart just so they could play with the metal turnbuckle from it. They got into some naughty stuff. I'm really trying to compose myself here because I don't want to miss anything that I liked about this. Moxley had some plans with barbed wire. It didn't go the way he wanted it to, but we'll get to that. We had barbed wire on a table set up on the outside, and it looked like Moxley and Danielson had it won. They both had their submissions on Jericho and Hager respectively. But then that nut Kingston comes back out with a freaking gas can, and even though he sees Danielson has the label lock on Jericho, he doesn't care. He's dumping it on both of them, ready to light things up. But Danielson wasn't a fan, and this is where the team fell apart. This is what I was hoping for in my prediction video, but I wasn't quite sure. But even after this, yes, Jericho and Hager were able to take advantage. Kingston gets hit with the Judas effect. Moxley doesn't get put through the table of barbed wire. He just gets thrown into it and it doesn't break, and it just gets skid across his back, and I didn't like the look of it. But even so, Danielson just wasn't getting put down easy. He took out Hager. The running knee on Jericho, chair first into his head, 1, 2... Just kicked out, and I was really losing it at that point. Who's winning this? But Hager and Jericho able to come back through. Walls on Danielson, choking Danielson with the rope. Passed out. Jericho Appreciation Society wins. They needed it more. We are not done with this. We got a whole summer coming up, and I was very happy to once again be the Jerichoholic I am and know when Jericho's getting that win. This was fun, and depending on who you picked, I really feel like the finish would have popped you even harder. One of, and maybe the highlight of the night for me if it just wasn't for that last closing shot, but we're getting closer. 2 matches to go. Now, and I'll say it, here it is. Match of the night. There we go, said it. Match of the night was the second last match of the evening. It was the triple threat for the tag team championships. Jurassic Express taking on Team Taz's Ricky Starks and Powerhouse. And Keith Lee and Swerve. This was all about the crazy false finishes. Who's winning this? Man, I was wondering, and I was wondering what Christian was going to do, but it wasn't as impactful as it could have been, but I'm not complaining, because Christian got assaulted on the outside. Big mistake, Starks. You paid for that one, because Starks had his chances, but couldn't quite put it away. And then Christian was able to get his ass out when he was trying to cheat with the championship. Swerve almost got it with Keith, but no. The breakups were where they needed to be, including Hobbs, who then finally took out Lee with the spinebuster, got taken out himself, and bye-bye, Jurassic Express with the lovely move, that flip power bomb. And I'm actually struggling to remember who got pinned. Was it Swerve or was it Starks? I actually don't remember who took it in this, but bottom line, the tag champs came through, and it was good to see the system worked again after a crazy match. You know, I'm not going to go into too much detail like the Jericho Appreciation Society win. This was match of the night. Disagree with me if you want to. Watch it. You'll have fun depending on who you think's going to win, because it was absolutely nuts, and I loved every second of it, and the champs retain. No championships in AEW have changed hands in a multi-man match yet, so keeping the streak alive. I love to see it. I want the Hardy Boys versus the Express on pay-per-view. And all right, if you're here for it, you're here for it. Let's talk about the main event. CM Punk and Adam Page. This was a split crowd, I'll tell you that much. Every time one of them had things in control, I honestly heard more booing than I did cheering. It really goes to show that the Vegas crowd was going so hard for their guy, but when the other one was in control, they were louder against that person. But oh man, this had some fun stuff. It was a little bit sloppy at times, especially when Punk was trying to get the Punk shot lariat. But that's the risks you take when you try to steal finishers time to time. But he did get it. Didn't end it. Page got the go to sleep. Didn't end it. Honestly, though, the Deadeye to Punk in that match, that was one of the closest falls I've ever seen in wrestling in a bit. That was like a Lesnar kick out in his prime, if you know what I'm talking about. But no. But then what happened? Well, we had the ref bump. And we knew we were going to get it, but even we still weren't just sure until it happened. The AEW Championship just happened to be in the ring. Adam Page grabbed it. But then, here's the thing. If you're a real fan of Adam Page, something you must be sick of by now is the emotion game, and that's what unfortunately took its toll on the Hangman. He was ready to hit Punk with it, but he couldn't do it. He threw it aside. He went for the buckshot lariat. CM Punk countered. Looked like he was about to hit his neck breaker, the swinging one, but no, he did a little topsy-turvy. Go to sleep. 1, 2, 3. CM Punk did it. I really didn't think it was going to happen. And then it happened. CM Punk's the AEW World Champion. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool for me. Because I definitely wanted Punk to win, but I just didn't see it. But then it happened. And I was unbelievably happy to see CM Punk win a championship in wrestling again. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm hoping to enjoy every bit of it. Punk's champion, man. Punk's champion. Oh, man. I never thought I'd see it again. The last time was 434 days. When that ended, I told myself, I really don't know if he's going to win a championship again. I really think that might be it. And then things happened, as they did. But he did it. He did it. The show ended. I felt pretty damn good. So that was AEW Double or Nothing. I may have missed little bits and pieces. For example, Andrade bringing in a new member of his little squad. But I didn't know who the wrestler was, so that's why I didn't talk about it. Unfortunately, that's not something for me to bring you my insight. My insight was how I felt the show went, who I enjoyed winning, who I didn't so much enjoy winning, and overall, it's great wrestling, it's great fun, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Thanks so much for watching. If you're keeping track at home, we'll try to run through this again. I want to say out of the 13, I might have got 7 or 8 right, but let's go through it again. Buy-in, I got right. Wardlow one, got that right. Hardy's one, got it right. Jade one, got it right. I didn't have House of Black. I had Adam Cole. That was 5. Didn't have Britt Baker winning. I had American Top Team, so that's 6. Didn't have Kyle O'Reilly. Didn't have Thunder Rosa. I had Jericho Appreciation Society, and I had Jurassic Express. So 8 out of 13. Not so bad. Not so bad. When we had 10 matches for some of the other pay-per-views, I was batting a decent 7. So 8 out of 13, I'm not going to complain too much about. As long as I can get more than half on an AEW pay-per-view, I feel like I've gotten my sense of it and made room for the surprises that I needed to see. Have a lovely day, everyone. And believe it or not, I'm not even going to be waiting a week to see you guys. I guess I'll see you Thursday is a maybe when it comes to the NXT in your house predictions. Because yeah, they're doing another special show for NXT, even though I don't know why, because I really don't see it holding itself up. But it's a fun way to spend a Saturday still with friends for me. And then Hell in a Cell Sunday, which I'm sure the predictions for that, I'll try to get up Saturday. We'll see, though. Either way, see you guys soon. AEW, Double or Nothing. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what your favorite match was, what you like and didn't like. Keep it real. It's clobbering time.